I went from being a skinny fat kid to becoming a natural pro bodybuilder.
Start with Men's Physique Pro. Number 1, Jacob Beneventi. Come on.
And I did this in the process of building my business, getting married, and traveling the world. Let's dive into it. If you're new to the channel, my name is Jacob Beneventi. I'm the owner of LMTLSS Transformation Coaching, and we help 6- and 7-figure earners transform their bodies so that they feel better, look better, and perform better. Now, I'll give you some context on me. I mean, I was an active kid, but I was by no means a muscular kid. I was by no means a lean kid. I didn't have the best genetics when it came to fitness. My starting point wasn't necessarily ideal. I was a bit of a late bloomer. And so the idea of bodybuilding was never something that even excited me, because it was never something I thought I could even do. I would say when I was growing up, I was probably quite insecure about my body. And I wanted to be strong, I wanted to be fit, I wanted to look muscular. And that really drove me to start training and drove me to the gym. I wanted to be stronger so I could perform better in my sports, but I also wanted to feel better about myself. I wanted to have more confidence. So fast forward, I got fit, became an athlete. By the time I'm 19 years old, I became a personal trainer because fitness had already transformed my life so much. And when I became a trainer, I decided I was gonna become the best trainer I possibly could be. So I went to school, I studied exercise science, got my 4-year degree. I became a trainer at 19, started doing boot camps at school, training my first one-on-one clients at school and then off campus. I developed a mobile personal training business where I traveled to people. From there, I started training people online. And in 2020, I opened a studio in Scottsdale, Arizona. Now, around that time, I was looking for a new mission, a new mountain to climb, because I wanted to see what my body's capable of. You see, I'd always push my body in the gym. I was always looking for that next goal. So I opened the studio and I'm like, you know what is gonna be my next fitness goal? I just came off the heels of running a marathon. I just built this studio where I could have a hub for all my online and in-person clients. And so I was working out one day and I took a photo of myself and I sent it to my buddy who competes. And I said, hey man, do you think I could ever step foot on a bodybuilding stage? And he was like, absolutely, you should do it. I'm telling you guys, this was a nerve-wracking thought for me at the time. This wasn't just like, oh yeah, of course, he's a trainer. Of course he'd step on stage and do a bodybuilding show. No, I wasn't confident in my body. I didn't want to get on stage with a spray tan and strut my stuff. That was a scary idea, but I did something crazy. I committed to doing it. I was 11 and a half weeks out from the Summer Shredding Classic, which was a bodybuilding show I was aware of because the owner of it, he was in the fitness industry and has been for a really long time. His name's Christian Guzman. And he puts on this bodybuilding show that also has a transformation class. So you see people who lost 100 pounds, 200 pounds, and they're up on stage with all their extra skin and they're showing videos of their journey. And it was just a really powerful thing. I remember I'd watched this transformation bodybuilding show and it would bring tears to my eyes seeing these people's stories, because I remember my transformation and I've seen so many of my clients transform, and I know what it does to somebody to get healthier, to feel better, to become stronger. And so, I was like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this show to make myself a better coach and to learn what my body's capable of. I start dieting, I start doing my cardio, I start getting really honest with everything I'm doing from a nutritional perspective. I think I lost 17 pounds in 11 weeks. And I looked good. I never looked like that before, but it was crazy because I was the weight that I was back when I was in high school, and now at the time I was about 25 years old. So I was light, but I was lean and shredded. I ended up doing the show. The thing about the Summer Shredding Classic at the time is it wasn't a tested show. So there was people there who I was assuming were on steroids, which felt unfair. So I go home after the Summer Shredding Classic, I'm sitting there and I'm like, man, that was an incredible experience. I was on this high. And I was like, I'm already lean. The work has been done. Should I do another show? Should I do a natural show? And that's when I found out there was gonna be a natural show in about 3 weeks down in Tucson. I committed to doing the show. And I kind of just coasted there. I put on a couple of pounds because I was so depleted for that first show. And I kind of just cruised into that show with really low expectation. What ends up happening? I get there, I have a ton of fun, and I end up winning. I ended up winning the show, which awarded me my pro card in natural bodybuilding. This was never something I had my sights set on at all. I was like, I'm doing this case study, I'm gonna compete in a bodybuilding show, see what happens. And what happened is I ended up winning. So I go from this kid with low confidence, terrible muscle building genetics, not lean, to becoming a pro in natural bodybuilding. And something shifted in my mind. I always wanted to be a pro athlete when I was a kid. I wanted to be a basketball player or a football player or a golfer. And I just became a pro in something. I didn't even think about becoming a pro, but once I became one, I asked myself this question: what if I started behaving like a pro in every area of my life? From the way I build my business, to the way I build my body, to what I put in my mouth, to the way that I communicate. What if I became a professional? And that idea, it really shifted something in my paradigm. It made me hold myself to a higher standard. It made me realize that when you put your mind to something and you commit to doing it, and you don't make excuses, you never know what's possible. And that's kind of the whole premise of the business that we've built, is that there are no limitations, that you can transform and you can maintain that transformation. And your story of the past doesn't have to be your story in the future, because we're always changing. You have to realize that you can change, you can evolve, you can grow. You have to realize this. As silly as it sounds, competing taught me that. It taught me about transformation. Now here's the kicker. It taught me how to become a better coach tenfold, because I made so many mistakes in the process of doing shows. I mean, 4 years from my first competition, I've done 6 shows now. I've done 2 pro shows and 4 amateur shows. Now I learned a lot of lessons through bodybuilding. I mean, the most obvious one is I learned how to manipulate my body composition like a master, but I also learned how to manage my mindset. I learned how to manage my mindset when I was low energy, low sleep, high stress, and how to find tools and ways to mitigate that stress when, let me just preface by saying bodybuilding is not healthy. It's not a healthy sport. It does a number on your hormones. It's not necessarily healthy to be that lean, and it's not necessarily sustainable, but it will teach you about yourself, because one of our strongest drivers in life is to be comfortable. And when you're prepping for a bodybuilding show, there's not one moment there's not one moment that's really that comfortable. It also taught me that when it comes to your fitness goals and your health goals, there's the balance between your ambition and sustainability. There are sweet spots for men and women where they're going to be optimized. But when you're going from good to great, meaning healthy and athletic, to trying to be completely shredded like a statue, that comes with some sacrifices that somebody who's just trying to get to a healthy state might not necessarily have to sacrifice. You're sacrificing a lot, from going out to meals with friends to family events. And even if you do, go out and enjoy, it's harder to be present because you get later in prep and you're very food focused. Like you're just thinking about your next meal, because even when you eat, you're not necessarily filling up the tank. You're always in a deficit. So going out to a nice, a dinner with friends, you're not gonna have a drink. You're not gonna eat what's on the menu because you don't know how that food is prepared. So there's higher levels of sacrifices for higher levels of goals, and that's just something that you have to accept. Now, this is a big thing that bodybuilding taught me. It taught me about your vision. You have to be able to see yourself in the finished product. You have to be able to reverse engineer that. And if you can't see yourself as that person on stage who looks incredible, then you'll only be able to accomplish what you can see in your mind. And the stronger you can craft that vision of who you're going to become, the easier it is to take the actions to become that person. It might sound a little out there, but it is true. Your identity, your belief about yourself and what you can accomplish, it will dictate what you do accomplish. And so I learned a lot about how to craft the vision in my mind before it showed up in the physical. Now, I will say, transformation always has a ripple effect. When I competed in the show, I was getting, especially my first show, I got messages out of the blue from people who I didn't even know were watching me, telling me how my journey inspired them. And I see it with my clients. Like when they transform, it inspires the people around them. You don't have to be a bodybuilder to inspire people. If you're a mom and you lose 40 pounds, you're gonna inspire your family. If you're a business leader and you go from being 35% body fat to 15% body fat, people see that. People know what it takes inherently to transform. And so when one person makes a decision to transform their life, to set a new standard, it has a ripple effect. So I saw it with friends, I saw it with family members, and I saw it with clients. And that was the biggest area where I saw it. It made me a better coach. I learned more about transformation. I learned more about the mindset. I learned more about the nutrition. And I was also able to eliminate a lot of the things that are kind of unnecessary complexities. People have these ideas of what it takes to get in shape and to lose body fat. But through competing 6 times, I've been able to not only know from the studies and the data, but through experience what it really takes to transform the body and improve the physique. So now when I'm teaching it to other people, it's not just coming from a place of ideation or studies or what I read. It's coming from personal experience. I know what it's like to do an hour of cardio on minimal food when you've been in a diet and in a deficit for 4 months. I know what that feels like. I know what it's like to be low energy and have to give a speech or do a call with a client who's really struggling or train a group when my energy is low. And I know how to conjure that energy from somewhere, whether it be through gratitude or just from the love of other people or from the fact that, hey, this pain that I'm experiencing right now, this discomfort, 1, it's self-imposed. 2, it's crafting something beautiful. Then look, here's what I will say. I don't recommend bodybuilding to almost anybody. It is an extreme sport, but you don't need to step on a bodybuilding stage to transform. You don't need to be a bodybuilder to change. You just need goals that will challenge you. You need a clear vision of who you could become. If you're watching this video right now, which I do appreciate you spending your time watching this video, you have the ability to create the life that you want to create. It's one of the gifts that we're blessed with as human beings. We have the God-given ability to create and to change and to improve and to build your life, build your body, build your mind into something that is strong. And what I've found is that the more time you spend crafting a beautiful vision of the future, the better your life gets today. Because you know that every day you wake up, you're working towards something that is worthwhile to you. It doesn't have to be worthwhile to your friends, your family, your neighbors, but it's worthwhile to you. So never give up on that vision, that dream, that goal that you have, because it's possible. I'll leave you with this. The only true limitations that exist are the ones that you make up in your own mind. Sometimes they're the ones that were created for you by somebody else, but you have the ability to remove those, and you have the ability to create whatever future that you want. If you have any specific questions about my journey with bodybuilding that you want to hear about, please comment them down below. If this video was helpful, please like it, share it, and if you want to see more, subscribe. I'm going to be dropping a YouTube video every week. That is my commitment, so it's what I'm going to do. And until I see you in the next one, take care. Chicken, chocolate, pancake, honey, salt. Babe, come try to buy this. How do you not eat the donut? That's the question right there. A lot of times there's more distraction than there is willpower. So you have to flip that. You have to be really in tune with what you're doing and why you're doing it. What I know for sure is I don't want to get to stage day when preparation meets opportunity. I don't want to get to stage day and think, oh, those 5 decisions that I made that one night where I couldn't control my cravings, that those couple weeks where I thought it'd be okay to drink when I really told myself that I wouldn't. I don't want to look back on anything like that. I don't want to have regret. I don't want to have any stone unturned that I did everything that I needed to do to bring the best package possible. So let regret be your guideline. A lot of times when we overeat, when we overindulge, when we eat foods we know we shouldn't eat, what do we feel the next day? Regret. Right? What happens when you drink too much and you wake up the next morning with a headache and a hangover? I'm never doing that again. So listen to that and don't do it in the future.
Babe.
Hey, no.
If you drop all those, these people are gonna be pissed. Don't forget.
Yep.
Don't forget to do that. That's the best part. Auxiliary.
Yeah, it's
You know.
okay, I got you.